Alrighty, now it is time for video number 2. Hopefully this voiceover goes way better than last one because that one had a lot of squeaking in the background thanks to a tree rubbing against my window. And now it is gone. So with this cat spread, I am just drawing a bunch of pictures of cats, and I am using references from Pinterest. I have an artboard, and then in one of the sections, it is just pictures of animals that I use for reference to practice animal anatomy. And I thought I would do that with cats because I like cats. They're not my favorite animal, but I like them. So I wanted to do a spread dedicated to them. This spread in particular has a lot of cats in it. I think next time I do a spread like this, it's not going to be of cats again, I don't think. But I will definitely limit it a little bit, maybe to one page instead of a whole spread, just because this took me a very long time and I had about 5 hours worth of footage to edit after I finished. But right now I'm just sketching out the first set of cats, or not set, whatever the 3 version of set is, because there were 3 cats in this particular reference. I don't remember what the breeds of cats were, but there was a white cat, a brown cat, and a black cat. And they were all just sitting next to each other, looking face forward, and I thought that would be a simple, easy one to copy. Unfortunately, I did not plan ahead for the fact that I was going to be sketching for quite a while in this video, and I don't know how to fill the silence, because I'm not a very talkative person who's good at filling silence, so maybe I should talk about another topic while doing these sketches. Maybe I'll talk about some of my other favorite animals, although cats are definitely an honorable mention. What comes to mind right now, off the top of my head, I do like reptiles, so snakes and chameleons in particular. I just think they're really cool. I am definitely biased in thinking I like snakes though, because I am a Slytherin. Not a very stereotypical one though. But I do like snakes. I think they're cool, even though they're kind of scary at times. Especially the ones that I see pictures and videos of from Australia. But chameleons, they are so cool. I think the concept of them is just really interesting and fascinating, and I definitely want to, learn more about them past the kind of basic level of knowledge and how they camouflage. That's so cool. I mean, imagine being able to just change your whole body so that you blend into your background or your environment or wherever you are. I think that's so cool. Plus, they have curly tails that look like curly fries. No, I'm thinking of a different animal tail. They don't look like curly fries, but they definitely have that cool, what's it called, ratio of 3, I think. I could be wrong, but you know how sometimes swirly things or things in nature work in 3s. I can't remember the exact word or term for it, but yeah, they look cool, and they have cool eyes on the sides of their heads, and they can blend in, and I just think that's cool. I also like ferrets. I know they smell really bad, and I don't want to get one to have because of that. I had a hamster once. I actually had 2 hamsters. They smell really bad. Cleaning out their cage is not fun, and you have to do it on a regular basis. Honestly, I love holding them. They're fluffy and cuddly when they're not biting you, at least. And I like looking at ferrets. I see pictures and videos of them on Pinterest because I spend a lot of time on that app, and they just look fun to have. Something that, just sits on your shoulder and you just kind of hang out, and they're your friend, and they're fluffy and soft and adorable, especially when they're wearing sweaters. Another animal that I like that is not a domestic animal like the other ones I have said is an oryx, and that is part of the gazelle family, or is it Giselle or gazelle? I think it's gazelle. And the antelope family. That's the kind of species they're a part of, and they're just a subspecies, oryxes, and I think they look cool. They have a really interesting skull structure with their long face and like long pointy horns like they could stab you with. And one of the things they are well known for is escaping predators by running really fast and avoiding issues and basically going through life jumping over obstacles instead of facing them head on. And I can relate to that. Always find a loophole going around instead of facing it head on, although that is a good skill to have. But I'm more of a loophole, avoid confrontation, not hide, but, the evasion over confrontation type is, I think, the best way to describe it. Anyways, back to the cats. I drew the second one in I think it's a kibble bowl or the food bowl the cat was sitting in. And then this third one I'm working on now, there was a cat in the bathroom laying on the counter looking in one of those magnifying mirrors that you typically have for doing makeup or getting an eyelash out of your eye. And the cat's face was warped and the cat was making a very shocked face, and I thought that was pretty funny and cute. And so I wanted to draw it. I should probably link my Pinterest down below, or at least the photos that I use, so if you want, you can see what I was referencing and see how accurate and inaccurate certain ones are. But anyways, dogs are also really cool animals. I wouldn't say I'm more of a cat person than a dog person, or more of a dog person than a cat person. I'm pretty equal on the two, although they both have their own pros and cons. I think realistically speaking, I would have an easier time taking care of a cat just because I'm very forgetful. And so I would prefer to have an animal that is very dependent very independent. And cats, especially outdoor cats, are quite independent. They don't like relying on other people, whereas dogs need a lot of affection and comfort and cuddles, and they need a lot of reassurance that you still love them. And as innocent and cute and adorable and best boy, best girl energy as that has, I don't have the emotional energy to give out what they need. So, I don't know. I'd rather not, get an animal that needs a lot of attention and affection and love that I cannot provide for it, because I am a stereotypical INTP in that way. It's definitely easier to show affection towards animals, or not all animals. There are definitely some that are sketch that not even going to bother with them. But when it comes to dogs, I'm definitely more inclined to be emotional around them because they can't, tattle on me than I am towards humans. So, dogs, they're cute, they're innocent, they are definitely too good for this world. I stand by that logic. I agree with it 100%, but I also cannot effectively nurture or enable sounds like a negative word, but positively enable that kind of dependence and behavior. So in that sense, I guess I am a cat person. I would love to be a dog person, but that's a lot of energy, emotional energy that has to go into that. The fourth cat that I drew in this spread is just a really ugly cat with a round, flat face that I found. In my opinion, that one was the worst of the cats I drew, just because it wasn't very accurate to the picture reference that I was using. But that's okay, because I still, stuck with it. And I think that was good for learning the anatomy of different breeds of cats. And then the fifth one I drew, which is in the top right corner of the cat being scared, I think that's one a lot of people are familiar with seeing the picture of, because it's usually in memes like, which one are you today? And there's usually that one cat that's kind of shocked and it has the bright white eyes that look kind of demonic. And then the 6th cat was that cute little one that's walking out from behind the wall that I love, and I think a lot of other people know that one as well. And finally, the 6th and 7th thing I drew weren't actually cats. It was just a cat collar with the bell and a cat paw, because in one of my other spreads, I drew a cat paw, but it was very plain, although it did look cute. And this one, I wanted to try something else, something new. And so right now in the process, I'm just going through inking, except unlike last time, I'm using a proper inking pen in 005 size, which is a felt tip. I believe the brand is Artist's Loft. Let me just grab it. It says 0.05 Artist's Loft illustration pen, stylo pour illustrations. So it's made specifically for line art, and I just got a couple of those, and that is what I'm using for this particular spread. Also, if it sounds like I'm getting out of breath throughout this voiceover, that's because because I'm walking as I'm doing it, since it's difficult for me to focus if I'm not moving. So that's why drawing is good, because I'm moving my hands constantly and I'm able to stick with the task at hand. But when you're doing voiceovers, there's not really much for you to do because you're just talking, and that's not one of my strong points, so I have to walk when I do it. So that's why I sound really out of breath right now. But we're coming up to the end of the inking process, and I'm just gonna erase the sketch lines. I did that off camera, and now I'm using this technique that I saw someone else do. I can't remember who they were, but I thought it looked so cool because it had kind of tree bark vibes to it. So I picked 2 colors of highlighters, and if you don't know, highlighters do not blend very well, which means when you draw large spaces with them and layer them over the top of each other, you can see the lines very clearly from where you drew the first layer and then the second and third layer. And it gives it kind of a wood or bark texture, and hopefully you can see it in this video. You might not be able to see it because I didn't zoom in quite that close for it, but once it gets closer to filling out more of the page, you'll probably be able to see it better. And for this particular spread, I decided to do 2 colors again. The original spread that I did like this with the same techniques, I did 2 colors as well, but it was on a single page, so I only did half and half, whereas this one I did an entire page purple and an entire page orange because I thought the color scheme looked nice, and the other one was purple and blue, which also is a nice color combination. And you can see here that I was getting kind of tired because of the repetitive action, so I started doing it in chunks as opposed to what I was doing when I first started the background, where I went across the whole page, and I think I did that with the orange side as well. Also, earlier when I was talking about animals I like, did I mention moths? Because I think moths are really cool, and I know they're an insect, but insects are in the animal kingdom, so technically they are animals, so it counts. I like moths, not just because they have cool symbolism, but they look really cool too. And I know they've become popular with moth memes lately. Well, not lately. Those were really popular about a year ago. I think they're funny. I genuinely think they're funny. I don't care if they're out of season, out of style. I genuinely think they're funny. They're not unfunny. I don't think we should put an expiration date on moth memes like we do with other memes. Anyways, we're coming up to the end of the video, so if you liked it, leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know what you think.